I'd like to call this meeting of the City of Elkhorn Architectural Review and City Planning Commission to order. It's Thursday, October 9th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Watke?
Here.
Hunter?
Here.
Stocko?
Here.
Boardman?
Here.
Eastland?
Here.
Heinell? Schroeder?
Here. First, we have the minutes of the August 21st, 2025 meeting to be approved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next, our item on the agenda tonight is Ryan Fritsch, Newman Developments, Sugar Creek Ridge Project, Northwest County Road H, Hazel Ridge Rose, an SIP application Phase 1, discussion recommendation, and a preliminary plat, discussion and recommendation. Allison, are you ready to roll?
Yes, thank you very much. So we are here this evening to talk about the Newman development, Sugar Creek Ridge. This would be Phase 1 of their development. So you can see on the map above, this approval is for Phase 1 only. Just scrolling here. So this project has gone through the plan development phase. They have gone through their general development plan. We are now at a specific implementation plan phase, along with preliminary plating. So there's two different items that need to be voted on tonight's agenda, and that would be first, their specific implementation plan for Phase 1, and number 2 would be a preliminary plat for the overall site. So, as you know, this site is zoned RS1, Single Family Residence District. It is consistent with our 2040 land use plan for low density residential. And Newman at this point has provided all of the documentation that is required with an SIP, and they have worked at length with our engineering team to make sure that all the conditions are met. And so I will let Naomi and Jacob talk a little bit about engineering.
Yeah. All right. So we put together our review letter from October 1st, and I know I just got a letter this morning from Nick at Trio. I kind of responded to more comments, but just kind of as a review of kind of what we went through. Obviously, specific implementation plan we'll do each time, so we have the 6 phases right now, and each one of those will come back to the board. Making sure when we get further along here, financial surety. I know we have one in place for the grading work that's going on there right now, and making sure that when we get to the utility phase that we're kind of tackling that. Permitting and whatnot, I know we have a lot of work to do there with the DNR and making sure we get everything there. And then I know the big thing on their hands is wall commit and making sure we get that in front of them too. I know there's some discussion to be had too between the city and Newman regarding some water main sizing, making sure that we do that in between Girard Street and Edgewood Avenue, and we'll probably be having those conversations in the upcoming weeks. But as of now too, the floodplain has been confirmed. That was one of our major sticking points, and we don't have any outstanding concerns on that. We've reviewed the flow data coming into the site, and we're looking good on that. As for the preliminary plat, I know it's kind of a separate item, but we'll tackle it real fast on this. We just had a couple of items based on the ordinance, making sure that we're meeting that Chapter 18, Article 4. And I saw that there were some updates made per this letter that should be addressing those. And then I know there is a final plat in the upcoming weeks here that will be coming in front of us for review. Stormwater management plan met all the ordinance, looking good on that, and they'll still be making final tweaks based on the SIP phase. I know phase 4 will have another section that we'll have to look at again. And then maintenance agreement, looking good on that. Talking about making sure we're hitting all the pieces for the city of Elkhorn, reflecting all the necessary easements in the preliminary plat and the final plat that's forthcoming. Swales, maintenance access paths, making sure the city can maintain if something comes to that. Otherwise, then the civil plans, the big thing that's kind of outstanding regarding just specifics for utilities is going to be some possibilities for sewer overages. We'll have to have those conversations probably between myself, the city, and then Welcomette, making sure we're not, creating any outstanding issues for the new homes that will be coming in. Otherwise, a couple other items just on the individual sheets, just talking about more the nitty-gritty of the engineering portion, curb ramps, vertical curves, and standing places we found out about just the other week. So, fun surprise right before the end here. Otherwise, yeah, everything looks good on our end. Conditional approval, and I know they're working on getting us a final plan so we can finalize everything up.
Thank you, Jacob. I will add that our SIP review has some conditions. We don't feel that any of these conditions will ultimately affect the site plan, like the number of lots, location of lots, the configuration of lots. They're just technical, cross the T, dot the I type conditions. However, if something were to come up that did affect the site plan, they would be required to come back and revise their SIP, so you would get a chance to see that. I did want to specifically note that as part of the conditions, in addition to the conditions written on our October 1st, we do want to specifically add verbally add another condition, which is simply approval from Wilcomette. It's implied in our written letter because we have a condition of DNR approval, which is standard for sanitary sewer extension, and in that approval they ask for Wilcomette approval. So it's implied, but I would like to add that to the conditions, should you decide to approve.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I got one question I'd like to clarify. Allison kind of explained it to me, but our meeting tonight is to approve this for Newman's, but yet they've been working there since last Thursday. They've been working for 6 days on that project.
And I can,
And the neighbors have asked me why, and I couldn't give them a reason why.
Can you tackle that, Allison?
And if Allison could cite it and put it on the record so we know.
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Just for clarification purposes, at some of our last staff meetings that we've had with Newman, we felt like they were far enough along to allow an early start or an erosion control permit to be issued. So in correlation with the city engineer being comfortable with that request and the building department being comfortable with that request, we did go ahead and approve that permit. It was issued a while back, probably 1 to 2 weeks ago now, and so they do have approval to be moving dirt on that property.
Okay, thank you, Allison. Any other questions? I think we'd be looking to approve the SIP with the conditions, including the verbal condition of Welcomette's approval, or permit to hook up.
One of the conditions we put on that when we approved the preliminary was we wanted to see a copy of the letter from the county that they could go on, they could put an entrance out on a H.
I believe that approval from the county is enclosed in the packet. So they have received approval for that ingress egress.
Additionally, they had that approval before the city issued their grading permit as well.
Okay, great. Any other discussion? Well, I guess I'll make the motion to approve the SIP with the conditions written and the additional condition of getting a permit for the Walkomet hookup.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions?
For clarification purposes, this is for phase one only, phase one SIP. So Newman will be back a couple more times. You'll see him over the course of the next couple of years. They'll come back in each time they're ready to proceed on to their next phase. They'll come in for an SIP. So they're not quite finished up. You'll still see them. They still have to come back, wrap up their final plat, but this would be for phase one construction.
Okay, thank you, Allison. So we've got a motion and a second to send this on to council. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the preliminary plat. Is there any discussion on that? Anything we...
I believe engineering already kind of went over some of their comments. The preliminary plat looked good. I would recommend approval of the preliminary plat with all of the engineering conditions included. As I mentioned earlier, they do still have to come back for their final plat. So you'll see the final rendition of the plat, hopefully in the coming weeks here.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Now, the city has on their agenda for next year the sewage problem for that area
Yeah, the lift
and the lift
station.
station.
The lift station
I
is
mean,
on
the
the
lift station
budget.
was built probably in 1950, so.
Yeah, that's going to be rebuilt this next year.
Because it's
in
not
the budget.
adequate now, because practically every home on Gerard Street with a heavy rain gets water in the basements, especially the houses on the north end. In that area of the lift station is at least 10 feet lower than Gerard Street. So the people in that subdivision are going to have water in their basement if something isn't corrected.
Any other discussion? Comments?
I make a motion to approve the preliminary plat with engineering conditions. Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Do we have any updates? Any discussion items?
I don't believe so. We changed the October meeting to October 23rd. That meeting is going to go forward. We have a couple of agenda items there. We also have a couple of agenda items for November 6th, so we will be having both meetings.
Okay. Everyone got that? The meetings are listed on your agenda there. I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.